So I would say strafing is a very, very, very useful tactic if you want to get fast at DeathRun. So today I'm going to be showing you how to strafe, get consistent with how you do it, and most importantly, get smooth with it. I'll have the timestamps in the description to skip whatever part you want to learn. I would say you would go to level 1 if you've never used a strafe or you just haven't played the game before. I would say go to level 2 if you do use strafes but you don't really think about it. Go to level 3 if you're struggling with your technique with strafing. And I would say go to level 4 if you just want to improve your abilities. So let's just get into strafing. On level 1, you'll be learning how to use the strafes. Don't worry about the gameplay, but basically you guys can look at my keystrokes on the top left for what I actually do, but we'll get into that later. So for actually using the strafes, if you notice in your 4th, 5th, and 6th hotbar, on the left you have a left strafe, so you can strafe to the left. On your 5th slot, you have a back strafe, so you can strafe backwards. And in your 6th slot, you have a right strafe, so you can strafe to the right. So basically, all you have to do to strafe actually is just right click. Or if you're on a trackpad, if you're on like a MacBook or something, all you have to do is do the 2-finger button press. Anyhow, it's just the right button. So basically, if I hold my left strafe, which is in the 4th slot, I'm gonna move to the left. See? And if you use a back strafe, you'll go backwards. And if you go use a right strafe in your 6th slot, you will strafe to the right. They seem pretty powerful, right? Like whenever you're running, you're basically going to be able to use them to your advantage. You'll learn later that strafing is basically, other than death, the essential part to DeathRun. So for level 2, you're going to be learning how to acquire the coordination of using a strafe. So as you play more and more DeathRun and you use the strafes whenever you're just standing still and clicking, you're going to start to figure out and memorize this coordination. So basically, you're going to know that if you want to go this way, you're going to have to turn backwards if you're using a back strafe, so you can move in that direction more quickly. What you're going to want to start doing is not waste your time just figuring out how to strafe, otherwise it's going to be completely useless. So if I want to go this way and I know I'm holding my left strafe in my 4th slot, I'm going to want to turn to the right so I can go to the left. So watch this. So doing that would actually skip you a jump or two when using a strafe. So you can tell for the most part it is going to speed you up. So just make sure you know which direction you need to face. So if you want to go in a single direction, you're going to want to turn backwards if you're going to use a back strafe. And if you're going that same direction and you want to use a left strafe, you have to turn to the right. And if you want to use a right strafe, you turn to the left. So you could do this. So you can do something like this. Or even this. So for step 3, you're going to want to start getting smooth at strafing. Now what do I mean by that? You know which way to turn when you're going to use a left strafe. And you know which direction you're going to be going when you use a strafe. But now you're going to want to learn how to get smooth and also get a lot more distance. Basically, you're going to be doing the whole same thing, but you're going to want to start jumping when you strafe. Also moving at the same time, if you can. But here, I'm going to show you how to strafe just standing still. So basically, you're going to start noticing that depending on your ping, whether you may live in Australia or Europe, you may get a super instant strafe or might take a second. So for me, I'm in America, so I get mediocre ping. So when you strafe, you move about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You move around 15 blocks whenever you use an average strafe. Now when I also use movement, you go an extra block. So what you're going to want to start doing is making sure your sensitivity is set to exactly where you want it. Because when you do a back strafe, for example, you don't want to overturn or do anything weird, because otherwise it's just going to mess up your entire strafing method. So if you're wondering what I use, honestly, 1600 DPI with 75% sensitivity. That is what I use anyway. It sometimes depends on your computer and how fast you are with a mouse. But basically, you're gonna want to start doing some of this. Now, if you set your sensitivity too high, so if I set it at 32 right now, I'm gonna strafe the completely wrong direction. Like for that, I ended up going to the left rather than backwards, which is definitely not a good thing for when you want to do it. And if you do it too low, well, that wasn't a very good example, but you get the idea. So let me show you an example of just pressing W. So you're gonna be going forward, and then you're gonna jump and strafe. Now once you get fancy enough, you'll be able to do something like this. And for level 4, you're gonna want to get fast at it. So at this point, you know the coordination, you know you need to move and jump whenever you strafe so you can get the best possible distance. But also, you're gonna want to make sure, if you want to get good runs, you're gonna have to start actually doing it pretty darn fast. If you're above water, you're gonna want to make sure you strafe above that so you don't land in it. And sometimes you're just waiting for your strafe to regen, and you just gotta do it. That was a fail. I would also recommend watching, DeathRun videos. You can look up some of the speedrunners I know. I will link them in the description if you want to look at those. So to sum it all up, you're going to want to know how to coordinate right-clicking with facing in the right direction while also jumping and moving at the same time, and also going fast at it so you don't have to worry about strafing whatsoever. So now you guys are experts at strafing, hopefully. You'll now be able to move around the map quicker, get over death traps, and just improve your pace at the game. So anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Don't forget to leave a like for more DeathRun tutorials. Also get subscribed for tutorials every Tuesday and Friday on the Bridge, Bed Wars, and DeathRun. And I will see you guys in the next video.